So welcome everyone to my mini session on how to plan a successful event. My name is Carla Perez and I am a communication specialist too here at San Juan Unified. So a big part of my role actually involves event planning. So I have the opportunity to coordinate events connected to our bond measures, which help fund district communication projects. So most recently, I planned an aviation showcase at Mariloma High School, as well as the ribbon cutting ceremony for the San Juan High School Stadium modernization project that we had last week. Okay, so why does planning matter? So successful events create positive experiences and help us achieve our goals, right? Whether it's a school dance or a fundraiser, when an event is well planned and everything runs smoothly, it leaves a lasting impression on our attendees. On the other hand, poor planning can lead to confusion and wasted resources, whether it's staff time or money as well. So the key is to be prepared with clear roles, clear timelines, and a solid plan in place. So the first step in planning a successful event is determining the key details. So we start with the basics, confirming the date, the time, and location. So make sure these align with your team and any key stakeholders, whether it's a principal, vice principal, admin staff, as these decisions will guide the rest of your planning. So next, identify any special activities that may require some extra coordination. So this can include speeches or performances or tours or other interactive experiences. So planning these things early will help prevent any last minute challenges. Oops. So from there, we can focus on logistics. Consider factors like weather and always have a backup plan. Prepare maps for parking, seating, and the overall layout, and confirm needs like sound systems and custodial support ahead of time. And finally, plan your supplies. Make sure you know exactly what's needed. Maybe you'll need the American flag or water. And if you need water bottles, how many water bottles? Do you have the signage, or maybe you'll need a backdrop? So being organized with all these supplies will help ensure your event looks polished and runs smoothly. So at this point, you might be thinking, I can't do this alone. And you're right. And you shouldn't have to do it alone, right? So we'll start by identifying your team and clearly defining each person's role. So include everyone involved. So that includes vendors, maybe school site staff like the principal, the vice principal, teachers, and maybe even students. Make sure you also have a reliable way to contact them. So when thinking about how to promote an event, it's important to use multiple communication channels as so you can make sure you can make sure you're reaching as many people as possible. So this can include email outreach to staff, families, and students, as well as social media posts through the school accounts or maybe some of the clubs on campus. Flyers are still effective as well, especially if you place them in high traffic areas. And newsletters and the district or school websites can also help ensure visibility of your event. But beyond just choosing outreach methods, there are a few additional considerations to keep in mind. So if 15% or more of your school speaks a specific language, we would recommend that you have these key materials translated into that language. So this can include making sure your RSVP form is available in that language so families can easily participate in RSVP. And the same applies to your event flyer. So if your school community is multilingual, your outreach materials should also reflect that. But overall, strong event promotion is about being intentional, accessible, and consistent across your different platforms. So next is planning exactly who is speaking and in what order to keep your event organized and on schedule. So identifying any VIPs or special guests, including members of the San Juan Unified School District Board of Education. Prepare clear speaking points or short scripts so that everyone feels confident and aligned with the event's purpose. And also note that other elected officials may be present and they may choose to present certificates of honor or certificates of recognition. So be sure to account for those presentations in your agenda or timing. And when inviting elected officials to speak or present, follow a clear order of protocol. So typically beginning with a state level representation, such as state senators, followed by assembly members, then by county officials, and then finally city and or local officials. And this helps to ensure proper recognition of each office. And if you are creating a printed event program, ensure it reflects the finalized agenda and the speaking order, include the district masthead, and maintain consistent branding elements throughout. So members of the Board of Education should be listed before members of the superintendent's cabinet. And you can find all information on San Juan Unified's visual identity, including the masthead, fonts, logos, PowerPoint templates, and more at sanjuan.edu/visual identity. Okay, so next, create a detailed timeline that outlines every phase of the event, from setup to the event itself, and also event takedown. So assign clear timestamps to each activity, like when setup begins, when guests are arriving, when speeches start, and when the event ends. This keeps everyone organized, on track, and on time. So during the planning process, it's also important to ensure the venue is fully accessible for all attendees. So this includes confirming that the space is ADA accessible with features such as ramps, elevators, accessible seating areas, and restrooms. We also want to make sure there's accessible parking available close to the entrance and that it is clearly marked and easy to find. If needed, accommodations should be available upon request, such as interpretation services, for example. Seating should also be intentionally arranged to support guests with disabilities, including clear aisles and reserved seating when appropriate and applicable. We should also confirm that microphones or other audio support systems are available and used so that everyone can clearly hear presentations and remarks. Sometimes people might think they can speak loud enough and they don't need the mic, but oftentimes the mic is still needed. So post-event duties after the event, don't forget about your post-event duties, right? So decide ahead of time who's responsible for returning equipment, who's responsible for cleaning up, who's posting on social media, who's sending out the thank you emails. Having these roles assigned ensures that wrap-up is efficient and it leaves a strong final impression on attendees, the staff, and even volunteers as well. Okay, so essentially everything we've discussed comes together in one place, the run of show. So think of the run of show as your event map. So it's a detailed document that includes your timeline, speakers, roles, and logistics all in one place. It serves as a go-to resource for you and your entire team before, during, and after the event to ensure that everything is running smoothly. So prior to the event, make sure everyone has access to the run of show. During the day of the event, you can have it printed for everyone on your team to refer to. So as we discussed on the last slide, having a run of show document ensures your team knows exactly what to do. and it keeps the event on schedule, and it helps prevent any last-minute confusion. It's also a great reference for setup and during the event and post-event wrap-up. So here is the QR code to a run of show template. And I will show you where this document leads you. Can you all see my screen still? Okay. So here is a run of show template. So you can see we'll input important team information like the event lead, any vendors, custodian staff, and having the preferred mode of communication in any way you can contact them during the day of. Next, we'll have logistics. So including the location, the address, parking instructions for staff and VIP, because sometimes that can be different. You can also include any special activities like a tour or a showcase, and you can list those logistics here as well. So here's where you would put the roles and responsibilities of all of your team members. You would put their name here on the left and then their role and responsibilities on the right. And then here's where you would write down all of the supplies needed. So what is your venue providing? What is the custodian going to provide? Who's responsible for what on your team? Who's putting what in whose car? And what are any of the event partners going to bring as well? And here you can put the speakers at the event and what order they're speaking, and if anyone's presenting any certificates. And here you would list any VIP attendees, like board members, and other elected officials as well. So you can put their photo and their name and title. And having their photo available is also very recommended, as it'll be easier to see if they're in attendance at your event. So here we have the timeline for the event setup. So you can put the timestamp, the task, and who's responsible for that. And then you can also do that for the event itself. So the run of show, putting the time, the task, and who's responsible for that. Here's where you could input your speaking points. And then once again, the timeline, but this is for the event takedown. So the time, the task, and who's responsible for that. Okay. So after the event, make sure to take time to debrief as a team. So reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and any opportunities for improvement for next time. So this step is key to determining and making this step is important to growing and making sure each event is even more successful than the last. Okay, and that includes my presentation.